Candles. Balloons. Friends and family. All things seen at a birthday party. A celebration of life. A celebration of life. Friends and family. Balloons. Candles. All things seen on Nasim Alameen's birthday, but he wasn't there because he was murdered.
It was almost like I was having a panic attack, and I couldn't, I was in such disbelief, I couldn't believe it, but I had a bad feeling in my stomach that something bad happened.
Shippensburg University senior Aliyah Mensah's cousin, Nasim, was killed on September 12, 2018.
When I got into college, I went away from home, so I would only see him when I would go back to visit home because we still lived together at that point. So I would say my house is basically a family house. We had my grandma, we had my mom, my two cousins, and then me. And of course, I'm the only child, so my cousins were basically my siblings in the house. Definitely us growing up together has built a sibling bond. And though he was quiet and to himself, he had moments where he picked on me and was doing jokes and being funny. And at the time, I hated it so much, but I was just like, yeah, that's what people do when they're like siblings. They pick on each other and they joke around. So now that I look back at it, he and his friends and I had memories with him together, so that's a good thing.
Mensah was so impacted by the loss that she wanted to create an event on campus in his memory.
Due to the situation, I felt as though it was important to plan a ceremony, but not just any ceremony, a ceremony that I felt like would really honor him and really stand out. And that's where I came up with this gun violence awareness event, but also a kind of living through you event.
The event was held on November 6th in front of the Old Main Fountain. Alameen would have turned 22 years old that day.
I will say one thing I admire about my cousin, man, he was fearless. And I think the only thing he feared was God. If I could, I don't want to cry, but if I could have what he had as being fearless and just going through life and not fearing nothing, I wish I could have that. And I admire that about him. And I know that he died not fearing anything but God himself.
SU senior Deanna Hatcher teamed up with Mensah to create the event. She also hosted her own gun violence awareness event over the summer in Philadelphia.
I realized this summer that it was so many killings in Philadelphia throughout the summer, and it was only July, and I was just I feel like I just want to have this event. And I lost one of my friends who got shot due to gun violence, and I just I was like, you know what, I need to have this event. I want to have this event. And it was stuff that was stopping me from having the event, and I still pushed through. It was just something that was making me have to have this event. Despite my small being in this world, I want to make a huge difference in my community, but I can't do this alone. And that's why we've called you guys here. We have to come together, so let's live through each other, our loved ones, and our fullest potential.
Political science professor Allison Dagnes said a college should be a safe place without guns. She encouraged students to speak with people that may not be like them.
Also, having guns around is disconcerting because there are some people who are great with weaponry and there are some people that aren't. And I think that in a classroom you should be able to feel free to say things that maybe other people don't like. And the thought of having deadly force used as an opposition to something that you think that may be unpopular is just never a good idea. So I like the place of a college campus being, somewhere where you can feel safe. Well, I think if you do a little bit of a deep dive into the statistics, you'll see that guns are everywhere and that violence is everywhere. And I also think that it's really important, particularly on a college campus, for students to talk to people who may be from different places than they're used to, who may, not necessarily look like them, who may not believe in the same things that they do, because that is what makes a person in full. Just hanging out with people who look like you and think like you does not do anything to expand your world. I mean, in order to get the most out of an education. You have to learn things from a lot of different places.
Dagnes said a way to avoid gun violence is by using common sense.
Making them harder to get, I think, would be a good thing. I'm in favor of common sense gun control. I think law-abiding citizens should be able to have a gun, and I also believe that a gun should be in a locked place where children cannot access it. And I think that if there are just some sort of logical, basic steps that are taken to prevent easy access, then I think that's sort of the best first step. Right.
Hatcher reiterated that keeping an open conversation about gun violence is important.
Yes, we haven't been affected by any kind of violence or anything like that, but it's good to bring it to your attention that we should be aware of our surroundings, be aware of how we're treating people on campus, because a mass shooting can happen anywhere. Like, it could happen at a movie theater, obviously it could happen at high school, and it can happen on a college campus. So though it may make you feel uncomfortable to bring it up, it's good to be aware and make sure you're safe on campus.
Mensah is still mourning, but she is grateful that she is making a difference.
I am having a hard time grieving and understanding the circumstances surrounding my cousin's passing, and I don't think I'll ever really understand. I don't think anyone will ever really understand a situation that is violent, but to feel a little bit better, I can do something that recognizes him and other people. It's also a good thing to, come forward and say, this has happened to me. I would like to have a support system. I would like to gather college students who may have had this happen to them and really let's do something about it, or let's give knowledge to people in general. Not even actively making a movement or anything like that, but just bringing awareness to people can make all of the difference. It doesn't have to be a whole big rally and petition. It's just making people aware that people are really grieving their loved one, and it's hard, and they probably won't know that feeling until it happens to them. And you don't want to say until it happens to them, because you don't want that to happen to somebody else. But really think, if that was somebody that you really loved that was taken away from you by the same situation, how would you feel?
Friends and family, balloons, candles, life.